All right, welcome to another episode of From the Street. I am Carl Waterstreet, your host of From the Street. I'm running for Door County Sheriff. The time is ticking down. Let's see, it is approximately 26 days until the August 11th primary election. So thank you for all the support you've been giving me so far, and thank you for the kind words and messages and everything like that. Still a lot to go. A few more weeks to go here before we can wrap things up, at least for the primary election, and hope for the best. And appreciate everything that you guys have been doing for the last, oh my gosh, several months. So keep going strong. We got a lot to do yet, a lot more places to go. My computer died, so I had to get a new computer. So I apologize for the delay in getting this out there, but nonetheless, we're up, back and running again. Everything's running great. I loved Lenovo. I'm a big Lenovo fan, and I didn't realize that it's very similar to kind of like the Apple products, where and maybe other programs are like this. I haven't bought a computer since 2018, so I'm not sure, but literally just logged into the Lenovo website, went to a backup, and boom, it was like I never left. Super cool. So it only took me about an hour to set up, get everything back working again, and learned a lot from the process. And nonetheless, here we are, another episode of From the Street. So I appreciate it. So we dive into another pretty significant human trafficking case that was of a national uh, propriety, I guess. We had let's see, we had 14 different states, and I believe we had probably over 40 victims of human trafficking that were being trafficked by this guy. He was a pimp from southern Wisconsin that had a tattoo that was the same as his email address. So it didn't take a ton of investigative prowess to link the two together. But nonetheless, the dude was a tower climber. He used to video himself all the time, and he wouldn't have a shirt on. He'd have his straps on, so his tattoo hung out all the time, and you could see what he was wearing. And it was he had a way about him. And if you don't know much about human trafficking, these guys are narcissists. They are very smooth. They are able to gaslight and all the buzzwords that you can find in order to convince these women who don't have much in their life to begin with to go do these sex acts, and then they feed them with whatever, drugs or alcohol or whatever, and then they give them a small portion of the cash for what they earn for the day, which is generally peanuts on the dime. So this guy had the ability to pimp out girls and attract girls via Facebook. And he was savvy. He would use all kinds of lingo, and just an amazing keyboard artist when it came to trying to convince women that he would just randomly pick on Facebook. It would just be, he'd be in an area because he was a tower climber. He traveled the country, and he would just find these women, and it was kind of astonishing how he would pick them. And he'd go on Facebook Messenger, and he would go about it, and it would be incredible reading the text chats on how he got started to how he was able to make them do things and then send them the money. So it was incredible. And lo and behold, like everything, he burned the wrong woman, and she turned him in. And it was in a small town about the size of Algoma, about 2,500 people. And the police department down there did not have enough resources for it, so they contacted DCI, and it was on the way southern end of my region at the time. So I responded down to assist them and met with the victim. And she was like any other victim that you'd meet with, completely in love with the guy, and thought that there was going to be a life together. And he sold her a bag of goodies that he was never going to cash in. And there were a lot of times where I had to talk her off the ledge of kicking the investigation down the road, and going back to him. And giving up on me and going back to him because he loved her and all of the things. And it's quite a sad situation when you look at it. And if you dive into human trafficking a lot, it's really a mind game, and it takes a lot of to heal the trauma that's experienced through this stuff. Can you imagine if you think about it, getting raped? I don't anywhere between 10 and 15 times a day, because that's what these women are experiencing. And I talk about women all the time because I don't know the statistic. I've been out of the game for a while, but it was about 10% of all the human trafficking victims only were male. So it isn't much generally. And we did have a few female pimps out there too. It's not like the pimp world was all males, but definitely strong male dominated industry for that stuff. So there was actually, if believe it or not, Milwaukee for the longest time, and again I've been out of it for a while, was the pimp capital of the United States of America. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because Chicago's got a lot of gang violence, a lot of homicides, a lot of shootings, a lot of police attention in the Chicago area when it comes to this stuff. So you move a little bit north, you're in the city of Milwaukee. Still a lot of violence, but still a lot of opportunity. And you have 4341 that run through Milwaukee, I-94. It goes all the way down to Florida. Orlando is another big human trafficking mecca. You can shoot straight out to the East Coast. You can shoot straight out to the West Coast. And you have one of the major airline hubs in the United States in Milwaukee, General Mitchell Airport. So Milwaukee they hosted the pimp ball for a long time, and all this stuff is on YouTube. So if you YouTube pimp ball Milwaukee, you'll see some of the stuff that's on there, and it's all legit. This is all true story. And there's awards that are given out for the best pimp and who attracted the most girls and who made the most money and all the things. It's the pimp world is incredible. And there isn't anything you can do about it because it's not illegal to do that at the time. It's illegal to traffic the women. So police would be in the area and their presence would be heavy, but they weren't doing anything illegal at the time. And now if they had a warrant out for them or something like that, they'd stamp them up, but not anything illegal to have a pimp ball. And he knew the dirtiness behind it, but it was just is what it is. Anyway, I digress. This guy knew that Wisconsin is a real rich human trafficking state, hence why human trafficking task force was started. And he was able to manipulate a lot of women. And this one woman kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I got tied into a couple different women up in the Green Bay area. One of the women was in the Door County area. And then we had some over in Wausau and down in Madison. And he had kind of all four corners of the state kind of covered. And he would travel the country. And so when he was gone, a lot of these girls would open up to me. I would make some good headway on the case. And then eventually when he came back for a while, I would lose him. And I knew when he was back because I was tracking him on Facebook and could see where he was at through his posts and through his, the GPS records on Facebook. And then I could tell when the girls ghosted me because I knew that he was back. And so eventually I was able to develop enough of a case. They were able to prosecute him in Appleton out of Outagamie County. And the prosecutor at the time, he's now an assistant attorney general with the United States Attorney General's office. He's a amazing attorney. And we went to I want to say it was a 3-day jury trial where he actually, when we arrested him, he actually got out on bond. And during his interview, he tried to manipulate me too. Smooth talker. The guy could have made me believe anything. And if I went to have the facts in front of me and known everything that what he was doing was BS, he might have sold me on a bill of goods. I don't know. Master manipulator. But anyway, he got out and he was such a master manipulator that he opened his own human trafficking rescue house down in southern Milwaukee area. and eventually started trafficking the girls. And he did this while he was on bond under the guise that he was actually saving the girls and that he was a rehabilitated man. And so then that created a whole nother case because we were able, and then magically the victim that I rescued to begin with was his madam. So the one that was actually controlling the girls and keeping track of everything that's going on. So it ended up being a pretty substantial case beyond even what we had to prosecute him on. But I believe he got 13 years, 13 in, 13 out. Let's see, we are on year 7, probably. No. We're probably year 9. So he's probably almost out. And God knows he'll be back in doing it again. But it was a heck of a case. It was crazy, very labor intensive. Took me about a year to get all the data and get him arrested, and then about another year before we actually went to court with it. But that was part of my life. In the girls in the other states, we were never really able to bring to assistance like we should have. We had a couple, but that was about it. And I pray that every day that they're not out still doing that type of work, but you never know. And nonetheless, this bad guy was taken off the street for a while, and it was a good case that ended up with a good result as far as the victims go. So any questions or anything that you got on what I do, my plan for sheriff and everything like that, feel free to reach out to me at carlforsheriff@gmail.com. You can go to my website, waterstreetforsheriff.com, click on the link to contact me, or hit me up on Facebook in my DM, Water Street for Door County Sheriff. So that's it for the week. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys carrying along with me. I got a few more stories left. Next week, we're going to talk a little bit about my involvement in the Jamie Kloss kidnapping, and then the ultimate kidnapping we had that was out of Shawano. And then the episode after that, we are going to have my version of the city of Neenah motorcycle shooting. And then, boy, it's going to be already that time for the voting week. So only a few more weeks left, and I'm hoping to continue this even if things don't turn out in our favor. I really had a lot of fun doing this. I still think we can connect with a lot of people, and we can still bring awareness to a lot of the issues that we have going on here in not only Door County but in the United States, and help law enforcement out a little bit and educate you guys a little bit on all the stuff that happens. So waterstreetforsheriff.com, Carl for sheriff@gmail.com, or Water Street for Door County Sheriff on Facebook. Thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and stay safe.